everyone. My name is Lexi Davis. I am the volunteer coordinator here at the Buckner Center for Humanitarian Aid. We are so thankful that you guys are going to be joining us for a remote volunteer shift. As you all know, 2020 has been difficult for everyone, and we have not been able to bring any in-person volunteers in. And so we are so grateful that you guys are going to be dumping these shoes for us so that at the beginning of the new year, we can start having our volunteers process the shoes. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for being willing to help us out. I am going to record this video as just a little informational video that gives you guys some instructions on how we would envision the shift going, and then also just a little bit of history on our organization. So I'm going to share my screen for just a second. Alrighty. So, like I said, we are at the Buckner Center for Humanitarian Aid. We are located in the Dallas Mesquite area. A little bit about our history. So, in the 1800s, late 1800s, a man named R.C. Buckner, we call him Father Buckner around here, came to Paris, Texas. And this was kind of after the war. And so he noticed that there were a lot of children without homes. There were a lot of orphans. So he saw a need for a children's home. So he was a Baptist preacher, and he kind of rallied his Baptist preacher friends, and they actually sat underneath an oak tree and gathered $27. And with that $27, they were able to launch the fundraising campaign that then led to them being able to officially file to start the children's home. So in 1879 was when the Buckner Children's Home opened. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, those first few kids were the first kids that him and his wife looked after, and that little cabin was the very first kind of Buckner Children's Home. And then it grew to be what you see in the upper right-hand corner with all of those children in that big building there. And then also down in the left-hand corner, you see campus, a picture of the Dallas campus that was taken in late 1900s of just what it grew to be. And so there was a hair salon there for the children to get their haircuts. There was a cafeteria, a gym, just a bunch of activities for the kids. So it grew to be a really great place. In 1999, a radio station called KCBI Radio actually called our organization and told us about a shoe program that they had been running that grew a little bit too big for them. And so they were wondering if we could take it over. It was named Shoes for Russian Souls, but we took it over and renamed it Shoes for Orphan Souls. So we can kind of expand our reach, and that is how Shoes for Orphan Souls got started, how we took it over here at Buckner. In 2015, we actually surpassed the 3 millionth pair of shoes handed out, so a big milestone. And then in 2019, we actually surpassed our 4 millionth pair of shoes milestone. So this program has just grown and grown. The shoes you guys are actually going to be dumping for us is part of that program. So you guys get a first-hand look at all the shoes that program entails. So give me just a second and I'll stop sharing my screen. Alrighty, so next I'm just going to give you guys just a little bit of a run through of the volunteer shift and some instructions. This video will come along with a Word document that you guys will be able to refer back to if you have any questions. And as always, we will be available by phone call or email during your shift if you all have any questions. So James, my coworker, will be bringing you a few things. He will be bringing you pallets that are stacked full with boxes of shoes and socks, and they will be plastic wrapped. He will be bringing you a stack of empty pallets, and then he'll be bringing you some unassembled gaylords. And I'm sure he'll also be bringing you some tape guns and supplies like that for you all to use to assemble the Gaylords. So first things first, make sure that you all do not start assembling, or do not start working on the second delivery of stacked pallets before you finish the first delivery. So to my knowledge, James is going to be dropping off 2 different deliveries of pallets. So I believe the first delivery should be about 8 pallets that he's bringing, and then he will return to our facility and come and pick up the second delivery and hand it to you guys. So make sure you just don't start working on that before you finish the first one, because we want to make sure if you guys don't end up getting to the second one, that we don't have to load those individual boxes on the truck. We just want them to stay plastic wrapped. So first, as you're working on dumping the shoes, you will want to first take off the plastic wrap that is on a pallet of the boxes. So you want to take the plastic wrap off, and then you will want to take those boxes that are stacked on the pallet. You want to take them off the pallet and put them on the floor. Then you can use that pallet that is now empty to set aside, and then you're going to want to assemble a Gaylord. So the Gaylords will come to you flat. You want to grab a Gaylord, and with a couple people, you want to expand the box, the big Gaylord. So expand it and then turn it upside down. So you can make sure that it's upside down by looking at the labeling on the side. Make sure that the words are upside down. Then you're going to want to fold in the shortest flaps first, and then while somebody's kind of holding those down to make sure they're staying, you want to fold in the longest flaps. Once you get those folded in, you want to take the tape gun, and we like to do 3 strands of tape in the middle. So 1 strand goes right on the center of that seam where the flaps meet, and then kind of right next to the seam, you want to put 2 other strips. So it kind of reinforces that center. Make sure on each side of the box, you want to make sure that the tape goes at least 6 inches to a foot over the edge. So it doesn't just go on top of the box, but it goes over the edge also. So that kind of reinforces the tape. After that, you can flip the Gaylord over, and set it on your pallet. Make sure you do not start filling the Gaylord until it is on the pallet, because then otherwise it would be impossible to move after it's filled up. So make sure it's on the pallet, and then you can start working through those boxes that are on the ground. And so you're going to open each box, and there will either be shoes or socks. So for shoes, you can just dump all the shoes, no matter if it's boy, girl, no matter what size, no matter what kind of shoe, all the shoes can go in the same box. We're not doing any categorization at this step in our process. You guys are just going to be dumping the shoes for us. So dump all the shoes into one Gaylord, and then dump all the socks into another Gaylord. And that's really all the categorization you guys have to do. Just make sure all shoes are together and all socks are together. Once you get them dumped out of the small boxes, make sure you break down those boxes that originally held the shoes or socks, and set the cardboard aside. And we can either pick those up for you when we come to pick up the shoes and socks, or you can dispose of them if you guys have a container that you can dispose of the cardboard in. And I think that is it. Make sure that you don't fill the Gaylords too full. Obviously, you can fill them up to the top, but make sure that they're not over full so that we can still transport them without them going all over the truck. And I think that is all the information. If you all have any questions at all, let us know. We are here and will be available. Thank you guys so much again for being willing to help us, and we look forward to seeing you all, and we hope the shift is fun and a little team building experience. So thank you all, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and let us know if you need anything. Thanks. Bye-bye.